G'day guys, Tim here from Grad Tests. This is another quick help video in our tips and tricks series, and this video is all about helping you practice what we like to call smart guessing. Remember, all the videos in this series are about mitigating risk, so finding out all those little things, all those little places where you can come unstuck and reducing them as much as possible. That's going to help optimize your psychometric test performance. First thing we should mention is you have to know when to guess. So most psychometric tests do not have negative marking. Negative marking is basically where if you give an incorrect response, you receive less than 0 rather than 0, which is what would happen with normal marking. So most psychometric tests don't have this. If they do, they'll make it explicitly clear in the instructions at the start of the test, so always make sure you read those carefully. Assuming there's no negative marking, then there's two situations in which you would want to guess. First is obviously when you don't know the answer. The second is when arriving at the correct answer would be incredibly complicated and therefore time consuming. Thing to always remember about psychometric tests is that each question is equally weighted. So you receive 1 mark for the first question, 1 mark for the 20th question. There's no weighted marks, okay? That means you should spend roughly the same amount of time on each question. Now, if arriving at the answer to a particular question is clearly going to take you a long time, let's say in a numerical reasoning test it's going to involve 10 different calculations, you need to identify and flag that early on when you read the question. You need to know to make a guess at that point and move on. Now, we can do a little bit better than just blind guessing. We can do what I like to call smart guessing, which is broken down into 2 components really. First one is to make sure you guess on the go. So when you come up to a question and you don't know the answer and you realize you're going to have to guess, make a guess there and then before moving on to the next question. Make sure you select an answer. The reason for this is that if you left it blank with the hope of coming back to it at the end of the test, you may run out of time. These tests are often very tight, and you're placed under deliberate time pressure. So you might not have any chance to come back to it. And if you run out of time without having selected any answer, then that's just a waste of a guess, and it's not the way to go about it. The other thing to say is try to see if you can improve your odds at all by eliminating an answer. So let's say, for example, you've got 4 answer options in a numerical reasoning test. If you purely guessed, blindly guessed, you'd have a 1 in 4 chance of getting that right, about 25%. But if you can quickly eliminate an answer option, you can improve those odds dramatically. So let's say down to 1 in 3, which is actually a 33% increase in the likelihood of you getting the answer right. So if it's a low cost effort, so let's say it's going to take you 5 seconds and you can clearly see that one of the answers is wrong, then definitely go about doing that, and it's going to improve your odds. So that's a quick video on smart guessing. If you've got any questions, comments, or feedback, please leave it in the thread below. And as always, the best way to improve anything in life is through practice. So you can head on over to gradtest.com.au, where you can take our numerical reasoning, verbal reasoning, and inductive reasoning tests to really improve your score.